The Jolas Orchestra may have seemed square to some ears. One famous beat group member once told me we used to call them Dead Loss, but they made a better job of playing the hits of the day than some of their contemporaries, due to their ingenious arrangements and having at least one very versatile singer. This was often the only way to hear your favorite songs, if not the original artists. I'd never paid attention to what became of all the records my dad brought home until January 1963, when he was asked to learn Please Please Me by the Beatles. My folks had registered the novelty of a group of local lads with a funny name when Love Me Do had entered the charts. But everything about this record was more startling. I was used to my father's voice coming from the front room when he was practicing new songs. It rattled the pane of frosted glass in the door to the hallway. From my room, I heard my dad playing this record over and over again, memorizing the descending cadence of the melody, which was made all the more startling by the vocal harmony line, in which Paul McCartney seemed to be singing the same note again and again against John Lennon's lead vocal. When it got to the call and response section, I knew that my dad's colleagues, Rose and Larry, would be answering his "come on" and probably find the whole thing a bit daft. I couldn't hear enough of that crescendo, especially when it broke into the title line with a little falsetto jump on the first please. I didn't know any of these words to describe the music back then, but to say that it was thrilling and confusing doesn't do it justice. I went into the living room and sat quietly on the couch. My dad usually didn't like to be disturbed when he was working, but I suppose he could see that my interest in this song was a little stronger than anything I'd registered before. He bent over the Decca Decalion record player and fiddled with an arrangement of rubber bands that he'd added to the spindle to trick the arm into landing repeatedly on the groove at the top of the disc while he was working. Please Please Me spun again, and my dad read down the song copy for the last time, singing along sotto voce. After the record ended, he lifted it off the turntable, put it back in the paper parlophone sleeve, and dropped it on a pile of sheet music that he'd already memorized. He picked up the next record he had to learn and started to work on a melodramatic song by actor John Layton. It was called The Folk Singer. I don't know how I formed the words exactly, but I asked if he needed Please Please Me anymore. He laughed and handed the record to me.